Everyone focuses on portraits, but what about flat lays and ring shots on your weddings? How are you dealing with those images? Let me give you some tips. Have you shot a ring? Have you ever organized a flat lay? Do you know how to get a good shot in those cases? In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips to follow next time you find yourself in a situation where you might not be entirely sure what to do when it comes to shooting details. The easiest way to go about it, believe me, is to organize everything into a flat lay. But what is a flat lay? Well, just like the name says it, it's an image in which all the elements are laying flat. That's it. It could be rings, sometimes wedding invitations, the shoes, cufflinks, perfumes, and the list goes on. These are important and sentimental pieces for your couple and should be photographed so as to be nicely remembered. It sounds easy, right? Just throw everything on the floor and then shoot. Correct? Well, while this might be the fastest way to go about it, there are some things to consider. Number one, being the most important to me, is don't treat a flat lay like if it's a portrait. But what does that mean? Well, while you might like having blurry backgrounds on your portraits, on a flat lay your objective is to get all the details in focus. Plus, the background is so close to the elements that it's very hard to get anything out of focus. Simply impossible. So instead of going for wide apertures like f1.4 or f1.8 when shooting a flat lay, you want to stop it down to maybe f4, 5.6 or something like that. This is also important because while some lenses have a very decent and sharp center of the image at its widest aperture, sometimes things start losing some definition as you move away from the center of the frame. So yeah, when it comes to flat lays, avoid thinking of them as portraits and step down the aperture to get more things in focus. Another important thing to do is to position your light well. In the case of flat lays, a side light is always better than just a flat light coming straight from your camera. Like, if you have a speed light mounted on the hot shoe of your camera, chances are your flat lay will look a little too flat, if that makes sense. Instead of that, you should aim to put your light source coming from the side of your frame so as to give your elements a little depth. Remember, everything is just laying flat, so depth is actually hard to achieve. This is why light position is important. Just remember, don't have the light coming from the same place you're placing your camera. Avoid flat lays, if that makes sense. Something to consider is it's always important to have a focus point in your image. A flat lay is not just throwing things around and shooting without a purpose. There are always some elements that are more important than others. Those should be the main focus point. In some cases, it might be the rings. In other cases, it can be the invitations, or you should make it a point to ask about which elements are more important for your couple and arrange your flat lay to set up everything according to what they said was more important. A simple way to go about it, the easiest way for me, would be to place the important items in the middle and then just start building your scene up from there, simply placing everything around the main focus point. In situations like this, if you're not too sure about what to do, keeping the situation simple will always be the best thing you can do. The easiest way to organize a flat lay when you're first starting out is to have a tripod with your camera on it so as to see in real time how your scene is turning out in your photo. And lastly, but certainly not less important, plan for a moment to shoot your details. Don't just wait and see if you have the time in between one thing or the other. That might work if you have a very organized wedding planner, but we have to think ahead. Anything can happen during a wedding day. My recommendation is to get there a little earlier, even when the bride is still not wearing any makeup, and start shooting all the details beforehand. This doesn't just apply to flat lays. Dresses are also very important. You can save so much time and stress if you shoot the dress before anyone is even thinking about putting that dress on the bride. Same with the details. It would be very weird to have the bride fully dressed and then ask her to take her heels off because you need to shoot the details. That's no bueno. Anyways, there you go. Those are 5 tips to go about your wedding flat lays. If you would like to go more into depth and talk about ring photos or even food images, leave a comment below and we'll make sure that video gets done. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow Aftershoot in all of our social media to be always up to date with the latest we have to offer. See you all in the next one. Bye.